Good morning, everyone.
Hey, good morning.
How are you? I've got a few guys on today. That's good. Good to see. Uh, how's everyone's 4th of July?
Okay.
Okay, another day.
Just another day.
Just another day.
So for all my friends in the world still have all their fingers in the toes.
Okay. Happy to see them come and happy to see them go. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Well, it's been a little while since we've done one of these, so hopefully, yeah, we can get into some good conversations and help out with whatever you guys have got going on, and yeah, shoot the breeze. So does anyone have anything they want to bring up straight off the bat?
I had a question.
Yes, Jim.
Your comments about excessive terminal velocity.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Okay, so your question was relative to why do, just have a look, you had it worded.
Well, yeah. I would like to hear like an explanation of the phenomena. I mean, exactly what occurs and what causes the issue, and if there's like any kind of
yeah,
guidance regarding like caliber, bullet weight, velocity.
yeah. I'm going to quote your question because when you wrote it, you articulated it quite nicely in writing. You said, I would like more of an explanation of the too fast to penetrate phenomenon. The advice I was given was if you can exceed 2,400 feet per second, use a heavier projectile. But my favourite quarter bore is a 257 Weatherby, and I've largely been ignoring that advice. The Hornady 117 grain SST has served me well on North American whitetail, but I'm wondering if it's suitable for hogs. Okay, so the really, really fast explanation for that is if you're in a swimming pool or a bath, and if you, bring your hand down onto the water, not much is going to happen, but if you bring your hand down, very, very fast, it's going to hurt you. And so then we have to ask, well, why is it hurting? And the reason why it's hurting is because the water can't move away fast enough from the hand that's trying to penetrate the water. So it starts to provide resistance. So the faster you go, the more that water provides resistance, and therefore the harder that water is on the thing that's trying to penetrate it. So that is why if you increase speed, it gets harder on bullets. So to counteract that, you would increase bullet weight. And so in certain applications, as you said, for wild pigs, you get to a point where you either need to improve construction of the bullet, which in that case you might be looking at a 120 grain partition, or you might go over to a heavier caliber. But that's the short answer to that. It's just about water particle surface tension and water not being able to get out of the way. Of course, the flip side of that is when the water does move, it generates hydraulic force, so that water itself becomes a destructive force, not only to the bullet but to the animal itself. So that's where you get your disproportionate to caliber wounding from. Yeah, I think it's a pretty easy way to encapsulate it, isn't it?
I didn't catch that last.
Oh, so I'm just saying that's probably the simplest way to encapsulate the how it all works. Yeah.
Got it. So small diameters, large diameters, I mean, all of them. What's
well, I guess you have to take it, and this is why I end up with a whole knowledge base, because you have to take it on a case by case basis. You've got bullet weight, and you've got bullet speed, and then bullet construction, and then animal weight, and so forth. So yeah, and range. So yeah, it's not. I know everyone wants to have that simple answer, but for me, it's just err on the side of caution. With the 257 Weatherby, for example, it is so much fun to use, but it's going to have its limitations. It's just as simple as that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. With wild pigs, they vary so much. You'll see colours and using the 223 on them, ARs, that sort of carry on. And yet if you get a big bore, those bullets will not penetrate the shield. So the pigs vary so much in size. And with the 257, then it would come down to bullet construction. Yeah.
Yeah. But as I say, 35 is like my real hog rifle.
Yeah, it's a great caliber. It's just the only thing is it's not being that well supported. Like, why don't we have a 250 grain SST or an ELDX? You know, where are they?
Right.
Exactly. Why are we getting all this emphasis on this stupid small stuff? I mean, enough already. We've got enough of those things. Well, that's it, isn't it? And then, you know, it's boxing everyone in. And then I got so much interest in 35 caliber at the moment and 375. People have had a guts full of all this little stuff, and they're wanting to go back to these more traditional cartridges, older cartridges. And it's getting harder to find the projectiles. I guess the good news is it opens the way for someone who wants to make something like that. But yeah.
Speaking of 35 caliber, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, I'm moving back to the Midwest. I currently live in Oregon.
Yeah.
I'm moving back to Illinois. Illinois does not allow bottleneck cartridges. They only allow straight wall cartridges.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to switch to a straight wall. Have you done your research on the 350 Legends? Is that sufficient, do you think? Or?
Yeah, it's okay. It's pretty much like a souped up 357 Magnum, I suppose, but you know, bore diameter is actually 355, so it's a true 9mm. So you've got to stick with whatever bullets are on offer. It'll do the job, but it's not going to have that much range on it, like anything like that, really. But yeah, it's okay.
That's the question. I mean, most shots are going to be within 200 yards. So
yeah.
What would you recommend? I mean, do you think a 45-70 would be better? Just pick that.
45-70 would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, I want to know what your recommendation is for a straight wall.
Oh gosh, yeah. The hardest thing is the
deer up to 250 pounds on the
250 pounds. Yeah. 45-70 would be, you know, you've got a bit of flexibility with bullet weights and so forth, but yeah, with the 350, there are a few good loads for it, but you are quite limited to those few that they are making specifically for it. 450 Bushmaster, that's okay too, but they're losing speed quite quickly, you know. So yeah, they do lose speed very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it comes down to rifle configuration, because it's all very well for me to say these things, but the 45-70, you have to have a lever action, and with the Legend and the Bushmaster, you can get those in the little Ruger American, and as bolt actions, they're quite nice to work on. You know, you can trick up the trigger or swap it out, and yeah. But the 450, it really needs a suppressor on it, because the barrel is too short, there's too much noise, there's too much recoil. It's a bit, I don't know if anyone remembers Jack O'Connor writing about the 350 Remington Magnum and the Remington Nylon, how much he absolutely loathed and despised it. It's just too small, you know. So that's the downside of that particular rifle. It's nice to use once you've got a suppressor or something on it, but it is vicious. It does buck around, and it's only because of the barrel length versus its weight. It's just so short. So yeah, either one or any one of those would be fine. But yeah, 45-70 is certainly quite nice. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Yeah. How are you, Mike? I can see you there, Mike Hale. How you going? Oh, you got your microphone off. Sorry. Let's have a look. Can you find your microphone button?
Yeah, good to see you too, Nathan.
Good. And
I just saw a question pop up in text about what's the range up there down here in the south, 100 yards is and then it went by, and now I'm looking at somebody's shared screen, not you.
Oh, no, not me. No, that was Harry. Somehow. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah, I can see. There's the chats on the
There we
side
go.
there. What's the range up there? You mean as in the range where I'm hunting? Well, hell, the ranges where we hunt, they stretch out to us. You can shoot as far as you want to shoot, really, because we're mixed open country and bush. Yeah. Oh, in Illinois. Sorry. So that's a question for Scott. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah, I mean, you can have a shot up to 300 yards if you want to hunt over a bean field or
Yeah.
a cornfield, but typically the ranges, you know, the deer typically stay closer to the woods, you know.
Yeah.
They have a escape route, so 100 yards is the average range, I'd say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And that'd be a long shot, really, because if you just sit in the woods, you know, there's so many hunters during the season, because it's only a 7-day season,
Yeah.
and there's so many hunters that deer move around, you know, they have to move around, because there's so many hunters walking around.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, well, one more question, Nathan. You mentioned the Ruger American. I thought you didn't like that gun because it can't be bedded.
Well, it's cheap and nasty, but as I wrote in this last edition of the book, I actually own several as test rifles, and just because they're cheap and I can, you know, get like the 350 Legend, how else was I going to test it? You know, you got to have it. They are cheap and nasty, but they are serviceable. Like that bedding platform that they have, the V blocks, that is very rigid, and if you can get the trigger sorted out, then that's good. The downside of the platform is that it's small. It's built to childlike dimensions, like a 9 to 13-year-old girl. The stock dimensions, and the barrel length is okay in some, but you know, with that 450, for example, it's 16 inches and very light, so it's a bit of a flamethrower and lots of noise. So if you don't wear earplugs, you're in trouble, sort of thing. Yeah. So
what do you do? Just like torque it to 65 foot-pounds?
yeah. Torque it up. I torque it up to about 55. I never go that far. You know, you start straining things if you go that far. So yeah. There's no real need for it. Yeah. Get the trigger right, free float the barrel, and then you've got to grip it like anything. But it is quite flexible through the forends, so you got to make sure it is well floated, so nothing's touching. Yeah. And sometimes the barrels are a bit rough, so they need a little bit of lapping, or a bit of DIY lapping, as I showed in the accurizing book. But yeah, they're certainly not a thing of beauty. It's not like having something like a 444 Marlin or something like that, you know. Yeah. But anyway, they're serviceable. Yeah. Oh, yep. There's John David Hayes up there. Yep. How are you?
I'm alright. I had a problem with a friend's gun at the range yesterday.
Yeah.
It's normally a good rifle. It's a 300 Win Mag.
Yeah.
But then it started throwing stuff about 3-4 feet one side, next shot away, next shot the other way.
Whoa.
So I figured it out. He was using these bullets. This is Actabon.
Oh, yeah.
And 180. All right.
Yeah.
But I got these as factory seconds
Yeah.
long ago. They got what a Bugaloid or something on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
All right. But he was going to sight this rifle in with the Hornady CXs.
Yeah.
All right. And it's just all over the place. And he ran through a box and a half
Yeah.
before went over, just slathering the hillside. Anyway, so I went over and I said, well, let's clean it. Let's clean that board. And so Higgins said,
Yes, once you start mixing materials, and the other one is nickel, the Federal with all the nickel on it too. It's, yeah.
so
Yep.
I used this stuff,
Yep.
which is patch out and accelerate.
Yep.
And a lot of gunk came out, mineral copper came out,
Yep.
blue. Then his roots came down to somewhere around 8 inches.
Yeah, okay.
One way or the other, one way or the other.
Yeah.
About 8 and 12 inches.
Yep.
And so he shot up some more ammo that way. And then I said, take the suppressor off.
Yep.
He did, and the next thing you know, it's all half in away.
Yeah, how about that?
We took the suppressor, held it up, and it looked like one of the blue boys, well, one or the other, had keyholes coming out of the muzzle and
Okay.
had ripped up the inside of the suppressor.
Okay.
So, anyway,
Yeah.
it was interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It might have been an issue with, the thread, how the thread was aligned in the first place, and then it's just touched it and then tumbled straight away. So
Yeah, that would make better sense, because I don't see how it would have time
yeah,
to totally keyhole.
yeah, it's the problem when you're threading the barrel is making sure that the thread's cut through to the bore, not to the outer, and then
Well, I'm going to take it over to Charlie Roberts.
yeah, he'll sort it out. He'll do a good job.
You know.
Good, good.
So while he was doing that, then I had 257 Weatherby Magnum, which I want to use for pronghorn.
Okay.
And first time I shot it, so I was trying to break it in. And I could lift the bolt at the shot and could not withdraw. I could lift the lever, not withdraw it.
Okay.
Then I had to pound it open.
Yeah.
So I already took that to Charlie, and he looked at the case, and he said, well, the whole problem is that at the factory, they had never polished the chamber at all.
Yeah.
And he said, it's expanding into little circular grooves,
Yeah.
the reamer,
Yeah.
expand there, and it's just locked. So,
Yeah, so that's a caution thing too, because the warning was never polish a chamber, because some of the thrust is taken up by that friction, and it's not all supposed to be on the bolt face. But then, as you've just, if it's really rough, then that can cause that problem. But I think the slower you go when you're reaming, the slower and tighter you go, the less of those deep gouges you get. And so there should be no real need to polish the chamber. If it's cut nicely, it'll look nice. And you're only cutting it, 60 RPM, something like that. So you're not up at bloody 1200 or 2000 RPM. You can go at hand turning speed. Actually, the very last of it, you can just turn the lathe by hand. But as long as you're keeping everything clean, it comes out right. But yeah.
This is the Remington I've had for a few years.
Okay.
Say, from just before Remington went out of business.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
that's not a surprise. But
Yeah, that's right. It isn't really, is it? Yeah. Yes, but you need to have good primary extraction as well. You get the bolt up to the top, and that final, just that last clunk as you come out, that's when your primary extraction occurs, and that can be hard on the Remingtons, and you can end up That's where you can damage your extractor and so forth at that. Just at that last click, you know, at the very top there, and that's where the extractor goes.
Because I depended on, I just asked Charlie while he's
Yeah,
calling whatever he's gonna do to replace the extractor.
yeah, okay,
What, is that, I don't know, you know.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
that was,
Drama at the range.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Here's one other thing which you may remember. This is the 358
WSM, yeah.
WSM.
Did you complete it then?
Yeah, it worked
Excellent.
well. I'm going to take it up to Colorado to try it out into November on an elk hunt.
So there we go, another 35. So we've had 3 35s in the space of, we've been talking for, you know, just a short while. What velocities did you get out of it? So it's a 35 short Magnum, and I did the chamber print for you, didn't I?
Yeah, right. I got, I don't have the book with me. I think it was somewhere around 27.
With a 225 grain?
Yeah, but I have yet to try to finalize
Yeah.
a load for it.
And what was your barrel length?
The barrel length on that was 24.
Okay, that's good going. Shivers, that's good velocity. And what, which powder did you go with?
I think that was a 7828 shortcut, I think.
Oh, that's
But I'm going to redo it. So
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
be on.
yeah. Yeah, you use a relatively fast burn rate for that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So let's,
Anyway, very interesting. I don't know. I mean, provided it proves out to be accurate,
yeah,
I don't know why people wouldn't want to go with that. Better than a 325,
yeah,
which is what the rifle used to be.
yeah, yeah. Oh, very good. Oh, well, that'll be interesting to see how that one goes. That was quite a neat little project. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let you know about the what ended up with the load, and then hopefully.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
I'm going after an elk that I had. He patterned every day coming across this hillside every day, because the hunters on the other property would come up and he would go off and down into a canyon.
Okay.
And so I was setting up to shoot him,
Yeah.
and I fell and broke a couple of ribs.
Oh, shit.
I decided to go back.
Yeah. Oh, good. Excellent.
Anyway, that's my adventures.
Yeah. It sounds like you've been busy. Who else we got on there? I don't want to miss out on anyone's questions, so
Hey, Dave, I had a question about a Mauser.
yeah.
So I inherited, my grandpa was a shotgun shooter, rarely ever shot rifles. So
Yeah.
there's no sentimental value to it.
Okay. Yeah.
It is in 8mm 06.
Oh, wow.
And the barrel shot, I'm not going to spend the $200 it would cost to get dyes and everything to see if it's worth saving, but I'm just going to scrap it.
Okay.
And go to 30 outfits.
All right.
So I'm actually an SDI. I'm doing we've been reading your books in
Yeah.
our class, and I want to do a new stock. It's got a sporterized military stock, but I'm going to scrap it
Okay.
as well. What was I going to ask? I'm looking at this military stock, and it's got the cross pin.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned in the book, the cross pin.
Yeah.
What, for 30-06, is that Magnum cross pin even necessary?
No, you don't need it in there as long as you, if you're putting it into another wooden stock, as long as it's got a good bedding job, you could put a pillar at the rear if you wanted to support that, but at the front, you've got a sort of pillar arrangement, but you do need to leave a little bit of clearance between the pillar, which is attached to the trigger guard, and the action. So you need just a few thou clearance so that you're not actually clamping down. Over time, the wood fibers, they compress, and so you don't want to be clamping metal to metal, otherwise the stock's just going to flop around. So you could probably have 20 thou clearance in there. But say for a learning project for that one, I would probably use a Boyd's laminate stock. Just a classic, no thumb hole, no stupid nonsense like that, just a Boyd's classic laminate stock. And yeah, and you can even, if you wanted to, have it with no finish, just straight wood, and then use an oil on it yourself.
Brownells has I think the 99% cut walnut that I was looking at.
Okay, yep, you could do that as well. Yep. If
just plug out there around the replug and embed it.
Yeah, just take your time, go through the whole thing. It takes quite a bit to get your head around the Morser, because you've got to have, in the magazine well area, if the gap, so when you're bedding it, if the action sits too high, then you'll have a large gap between the action and the magazine, and then when you go to cycle the action, the projectiles, the tips, will jam at the front in the gap between the magazine and the receiver. So that's if the gap's too large. If you bed the rifle and it's sitting too low, then the action will end up sitting on the magazine. And if, in that case, then the stock's just flopping around, so then it's not going to be accurate. Even though it looks nice when you bedded it, when you finally put it together, the magazine's actually going to prevent it from sitting down on the bedding. So again, that's why starting with something like the Boyd's laminate is cheap, it's easy to start with, it's got a simple straight stock, and so that can really be good to work with. You can bed it 2 or 3 times until you actually get the hang of it. If you keep making mistakes, it doesn't really matter. So that's one way to go. And yeah.
Cut out the old, if I mess up the bedding, just grind it out.
Yeah, just grind it out and keep going, and just keep going until you get it right. 2, 3 times, doesn't really matter. And then regarding the 3006, you're going to have quite long overall lengths, and the Morser magazine isn't actually all that long, it's just a medium length. So if you're running lead soft point ammunition, you'll be able to seat relatively close to the lands. But if you're running tipped ammunition, you'll be miles off the lands, and that's going to inhibit your ability to fine-tune the rifle to some degree. Like it might be okay, but it might not. You just don't know. So if you do want to go with the 3006 and you want to be able to experiment with tipped bullets that you would want to use with high accuracy out to longer ranges, then you probably need to look at modifying that magazine. And
so it looks like the magazine's already actually been modified when they converted it to 8mm 06, because it's got that link problem as well.
Yeah.
I've ran action proving rounds through it, and I have not had a single one hang up as it is.
Yeah, so I'll just give you an example. Just pull out my calculator so I can do the conversions. You could be running with a tipped bullet, where we go 87 divided by 25.4, anywhere from 3.425, that's quite common, that length, through to, where are we, 89 divided by 25.4 equals, through to 3.5 inches. And then the magazine, so the factory, I want you to actually write this down, the factory magazine length for the Morsers was generally divided by 25 was 3.307 inches long, and then for the Santa Barbara type stuff, Parker Hale, that came out just after the war, it was 86 divided by 25.4. Those magazines were 3.385. So that's how long they were, but you had to remove 40 thou off that length to actually get them to feed smoothly. So you can never seat to the actual magazine length, you've always got to seat 40 thou shorter.
Yeah.
So if you really wanted to, you have to check the current magazine length, see what it is, and then you choose your bullet accordingly. So for example, 168 grain ELDM might sit nicely in your modified magazine, but a 208 grain ELDM won't. And then another example would be a 195 grain ELDM might sit nicely in there, but just because its shape's quite different to the 208 grain. Yeah, so you'll have to play around with it. But with a 3006, the beauty of them, I think now, is that we have these modern powders and we have these modern projectiles that are capable of producing massive wounding downrange at huge ranges. And so we can take something old, the 3006, and we combine it with these new things, and we can get the trajectory of the 6.5 Creedmoor, for example, but with huge amounts of energy downrange. So you don't want to handicap it with a short barrel, and you don't want to handicap it with a short magazine if you can help it. So if you're going to do it, just consider going through all of those things. Yeah.
I'm torn between a 22 and a 24 inch. Just in case I want to put a suppressor on it later, that 22 might be a little bit easier.
Yeah, well, see, I would be running 24 to 26, but if you're going to go with a suppressor, then I see what you mean. Yeah, you just got to think about how you're going to use the rifle, and it pays to have one which produces some good recoil, because having one rifle that produces recoil keeps you honest with your shooting technique. So
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of other rifles. We moved and I got rid of a bunch, so I didn't have to move them across, multiple states. But I'm also building a 308.
Okay.
For that's our capstone project.
Yeah.
So that was another reason for the 30-06. So if I can find a good load with the same bullet for both, would be amazing. And
yeah,
be able to buy in bulk.
Yeah, just have a think about how you really want to use that rifle. If you want to reach way out with it, then you'll be wanting to run those high BCs and heavy weights. But if it's for general use, then you might just be able to toggle between an SST and a 165 grain SST and the 168 grain ELDM, something like that. Somewhere in there will be the bullet construction that you need. It depends on how it's going to be used.
It's more for just general use. I don't hunt a lot. My range goes out to 1,400 yards. I don't think I'm ever going to shoot that far. But
yeah,
it's nice pink steel.
Yeah.
Out of the park,
Yeah. Well, with modern powders, there's no reason you can't get a 26-inch 3006 going 2,700 feet per second with a 200 grain bullet. That's a lot of speed, a lot of power. So, yeah, although, of course, now we've got problems with actually obtaining powder. You've got to use what's available. So that's the other side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to play with powders here because it's hard to find powders in stock at stores.
Yeah.
And then most of the places to order online, you have to pay a hazmat fee, so that's $25.
Yeah.
And then some of them won't let you order less than 4 or 8 pounds.
Yeah, yeah. Or yeah.
I can't buy a pound of powder and try it. I've got to buy 4 pounds.
Yeah. Well, if you want to run if you would like to experiment with the high speeds and heavy bullets, you'll be needing to use a reloaded 22. Yeah. Otherwise, if you're running just standard single base powders, then you'll be running your 165 grains, 150s, 165s, but yeah, and your 180s as well. That's where your 4350 and Varget and all that sort of thing come in.
I want to try. Sierra just released the SMKX, which you can hunt with, as opposed to the old Sierra matchings.
Yeah.
A 175, which is just about as heavy as that 308 would take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if I could get them both to shoot,
yep,
that MOA out of the same gun,
it'd be lovely. Yeah, yeah. Excellent.
Well, thanks, Nathan.
No, you're most welcome, Andrew. Most welcome. Keith.
Hi, Nathan, Lindsay here.
Oh, hello, Lindsay.
Hey, I just met you a few weeks ago on a video with Cliff Gray,
Oh, yep.
and and I just received your book set and just cracking into those. The first project I had was with the CZ550 Magnum that I have in
Okay.
3755.
Yeah.
And just had a question on it. So I wanted to edit, and I was reading through on your website, and just wanted to make sure I understood correctly. So it has that. I think what you call it on your website is the barrel channel recoil load. On there,
Yeah.
there's parts that call it a stay.
Yeah.
And you're mentioning probably the best thing to do is to get a Bell and Carlson stock.
Yeah.
And then maybe not use that stay. Or
If you can afford it, I would go that way. Yeah, definitely. For two reasons, not just because of that stay setup, but the unless you want to use it open-sighted, the issue with the CZ stock is that hog back, it brings the recoil pad down low, and that actually accentuates recoil if you're using a scope. So yeah, how do you think you're going to use the rifle?
Yeah, so I think I got the American Safari. I don't know if my video is working today or not, but
Oh, that's quite nice. Yeah, okay, that is different. Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. Well, it's up to you. You don't have to have that in there if you want to, as long as you're using a steel-based epoxy, and it has quite a good hefty bedding job. Yeah, pillars can help a lot too.
okay.
Yeah, it's not absolutely essential to have that. Recoil load up on the barrel channel. Yeah.
What do you think of JB Weld?
JB Weld. Oh, yeah, people have been using that as an alternative to our stuff, and DevCon as well. But yeah, it doesn't. The viscosity differs a little bit. The way we designed the compound was for both strength, but also how it flows, so that it's it's getting into where you need it. But unfortunately, we just can't get the compound over to you guys at the moment, so you will have to experiment with that. Yeah. But I think JB Weld is and DevCon is also steel reinforced. So yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's the fourth, isn't it? Is that right? The fourth medium bore that we've had in this discussion. Interesting, isn't it? You know, and it's not just that people wanting to shoot medium bores; it's that people are wanting to shoot them accurately. You know. So just
definitely counter to a lot in the U.S. I mean, Cliff, right after he spoke to you, had folks touting 223 for elk size game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're seeing that a lot now. Yeah, it's why, Sure, you can do it that way, but why do we why are we lowering our standards ourselves and what our expectations of ourselves? Why aren't we raising them? And just it's one small thing we can do, isn't it? Like challenge ourselves in it. And then as you're finding there, you have to actually start thinking about how am I going to achieve this, and how we're going to keep it all together, get that rifle shooting straight.
Right.
Yeah, very interesting.
Well, hopefully I can stay in touch with you as I go along.
Yep, that's fine. Yep, I'll try and keep these things running, but I'm always available anyway. There's always something we can do. Got to help each other out. Yeah.
So with that stock, you think it's okay? I know you mentioned the wood on the CVs weren't particularly strong, but
yeah, it'll be as long. I can't see the grain and how that is, but it should be okay. However, if you do want to really take it to that next level, then you could go with that Bell and Carlson, because it has the wide forend. It's got an excellent grip area, for for accurate shooting. Depends on how you're going to use the rifle, you know, because you might find that the Bell and Carlson's a bit heavier, but I think it's one of those things too, if you can obtain it, get it, because they're actually, I don't know if they'll be around forever, and they were a great stock, you know. So they do mitigate recoil quite well.
I'll give it a shot and see if they're still available.
Yeah.
I didn't realize CZ had discontinued them until,
yeah, well, they were doing a run of these 3-thread Lepoas that were trying to go in that direction, and Bell and Carlson made that stock for that particular model rifle, and then you know, it sort of fell over there. And yeah, I don't know. Have a look at Stocky Stock, see if they've got any. They might have some, you know, cheap. Yeah, Stocky Stocks often have good deals, but otherwise, yeah, just go directly to Bell and Carlson. Yeah.
great. Thank you, Nathan.
No worries. Yeah, Jordan, aka the rock slide thread, that's right. Yeah, 223 is used by native Alaskans for everything. Yeah, and that's interesting because I had it explained to me, a report from a conservation officer who went up there to live with them and to watch what they were doing with their 223, and it was rough, and then they couldn't report on it because it was so rough. So I'll let you use your imagination to work out what he was getting at when he was explaining that, when it was being explained to me. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions from anyone?
Yeah, Nathan, this is Jim in Alaska. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, Jim. I'm just trying to find...
Yeah, so just a little side comment about the 223 out in the bush.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of very responsible hunters, but there's a lot of younger guys who get on snow machines, ATVs,
Yeah.
they just hose down everything. It's pretty dismal, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not, this is first-hand experience, guys. This is not something I read.
Yeah.
So, last time we chatted, I asked about an ammo recommendation, and I recently picked up a Ruger Super Black Hawk in 480 Ruger.
Okay.
And this is purely a Bearfence gun. And I am looking between two bullets. One's a 330 grain mono, and the other's 410 hard cast. The mono is coming out of the muzzle about 14, the hard cast about 12.
Okay.
So again, this is close in, last ditch bear gun. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so with the hard cast, you're trying to, this goes back to what we talked about at the very beginning of this webinar, where what you're trying to do with a flat pointed hard cast is cause the water in the animal to have to move away from the bullet path, and thereby the water itself is doing the damage, and then the bullet's just boring its way through to wherever. So yeah, velocity it helps, and you actually see it come down as you get to 1300 feet per second. Below that point, it really starts to diminish. The wound starts becoming more proportionate to caliber, and at 1200 feet per second, it's proportionate to caliber. So if you do get a chance to shoot some kind of lesser game with it, have a look at the wound and actually try and work out the diameter of the wound versus the bullet diameter, and you'll see it might only be 25% larger than the bullet diameter or something like that. So then you know that hydraulic force was really diminishing, it was almost absent. So yeah, ideally, if you want massive hydraulic force from a hard cast bullet, it needs to be quite square at the front, and it needs to be impacting over 1300 feet per second, at the target for that to be highly present. So of course, obviously, it's going to kill because it's going to penetrate, but it's whether it kills fast. That's what we're talking about here. Your mono, as long as your mono is giving full expansion, and you said 1400 feet per second, is that right?
The mono, yeah, 14, and it's 1436 foot-pounds.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you say foot-pounds or feet per second?
1400 foot-pounds.
foot-pounds. So what are your velocities?
That's the 1400 at 1400 foot per second at the muzzle.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, as long as you're getting bullet expansion, that one will possibly produce a larger wound, as long as it expands quickly, yeah.
I got a follow-up question about, we don't have animals to cull up here, so
Yeah.
most experience is earned actually from hunting. I do have access, though, to bear carcasses that have been hit by trains and or cars.
Yeah.
So I was having a conversation with a game officer the other day about this, and we were talking about how long the animal has been dead. Will that affect the outcome of the testing in the context of the hydrostatic shock, et cetera, right? So these guys are not, you're following that, okay, yeah.
Yeah, quite obviously it does. There's an effect once that rigor mortis starts to set in and so forth. And then because you don't have liquid flowing in the animal, it's going to change that hydraulic force. But having said that, you can still get preliminary data off that, which is highly beneficial. If you push a shot in through a shoulder or something like that, you're going to see how that goes on bone. When we did the small arms wound ballistics book, I wanted to see how projectiles went through car doors and double glazed windows and plate steel. But what we did was we'd have everything on quad bikes. So we had the car door, we had drywall, everything you could imagine. The bikes were stacked up high. And then I would have my 308 rifle, and that was dialed in quite accurately. And I'd see the animal I wanted, shoot it in the head, and then we would belt across there as quickly as possible, and would have that, whatever we would say, let's say it was a car door with a windscreen in it, wound down sort of thing. And we would just literally throw that down, roll the animal up, and boom, shoot it. So we would try and go as quickly as possible. And that was the only way you could do it without it being cruel to the animal by, having a live animal behind it, while at the same time trying to keep it as close to possible, as close to being as realistic as possible. So that's as near as we could get to that. But if you can get access to roadkill, I'd still do it. It's still worth it. But you're not going to be able to see hydraulic force truly, because the liquid isn't there. The water isn't flowing around. But you'll still see something. There's still going to be liquid at the animal, especially if the arterial system hasn't been destroyed. There's still going to be quite a bit of liquid in the animal. Yeah, so I would do it. Do it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks.
We've had some really interesting questions today. It's been great, guys. It's been really, really good. Yeah.
I have a general question.
Sorry. We'll go with Dusty first. Sorry.
I have a general question. I'm Scott.
Oh, sorry, Scott. I'll just let Dusty finish his question first.
You know what my situation is and what
Yeah.
Kind of going back to what you were talking about with this quarter, not quarter bore, the medium bore cartridges. If I'm thinking about setting up a dedicated long range rifle, like a 7mm Red Mag, 300 Win Mag, something like that.
Yeah.
And I know you're not a big fan of talking brands and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
because you always seem to be limited by what they're going to give you.
Yeah.
Stock rifle. What do you reckon is the benefits for setting up a rifle yourself, like a semi-custom action or whatever, finding an action and then getting a barrel? Like, what are the benefits, pros and cons?
At the moment, it would be just setting up to get the right magazine length that you want, and getting the right twist rate, getting the chamber exactly as you want it.
Yeah.
Those are the main benefits, because I still like to muck around with the Remington 700s just because of the action length and the availability of parts at the moment. With other things, especially in New Zealand, things are hard to come by here at the moment. Like, you can't just mate a Hauer to a Bell & Carlson stock or something like that, or, you know, it's a little bit more difficult just now. So yeah, I still prefer that, but building can be expensive, so you got to weigh all that up. But you can get your weight right. You can, you know, there's just those little things you can adjust, making sure that you got the right magazine length suited to the job and so forth. So yeah, going with stainless steel for our weather conditions as well.
Yeah. And I suppose like it's the fact of whether you're going to get a 22, 24-inch barrel or you wanting that 26.
Yeah, that's the other side of it now. The barrels are all getting shorter, but what I would suggest, Dusty, is probably shopping around for something secondhand that's close to what you want, and then using it until the barrel's stuffed, or you might find out the barrel's not that good in the beginning anyway, and then progressing on to progressing on to what you really want. And so, yeah, if you're buying new, for example, and it was a 7mm Remington Magnum, and you bought a Bagara, well, a Bagara is only available in a chromoly, and the barrel's not going to last that long if you're going on away trips into the mountains here because of the weather conditions. So, if you're out all the time, that barrel's going to be stuffed within, let's say, a year to 2 years, even if you only fire 10 shots out of it. So, so then you've got to be moving on to that custom in that next phase where you're going to stainless and so forth. So yeah, that's kind of what it looks like in reality. If you're out in the bush a lot, they rust up pretty quick. Yeah.
Sweet, thanks, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Scott, sorry, you had a question.
Oh yeah, it was just a general question. I just posted it in writing.
Yeah, okay.
All the Hornady research from last year where they announced that you can't evaluate the accuracy of any gun without at least 50 shots.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think it's rather convenient for people who sell bullets to tell you that you have to take a lot of shots in order to determine accuracy. Dear. You do end up taking quite a few shots anyway when you're doing your load development. Like you'll go through, you do your first round of load development, and then you want to do your confirmation loads just to see if that was truly accurate and that the velocity and ES was all good. This is for true long range. And then you would do another round where you're actually going, because for me, I'd then go from the bench into a field shooting position to start testing myself and how the rifle's going, whether it's zeroed properly. And if it's a new gun, then I'll be testing the scope as well. So by the time I'm done, I have fired quite a few rounds, but I do like to keep it really simple if I can. I don't like the thought of a guy feeling like he has to have 50 shots of one particular load at 100 yards to prove that load's all right. It starts getting to a point where you start becoming superstitious almost. You're paranoid about one little thing that could upset the apple cart. And I see that guys like let's say they set their seating die up at a certain length, and they start seating, and then they go through and they see that the ammo is actually there's a few thou difference per round because there's a difference in jackets. They become so paranoid that they actually try and get every single one seated to exactly the same overall length, to the tip, because the mind's overworking it, so it just becomes too much. So you can be careful because it starts robbing the enjoyment from it. And also, the same guys that say this, it takes 50 rounds to shoot, they don't even hold the bloody rifle properly. So, I mean, who are they to say? The thing's bouncing around on a bipod.
Well, you're right, but they've got those, mounts that they use, they clamp up. It's just basically a pipe with it's been bored, for the caliber, for the cartridge.
Yeah.
It's just got 1 inch or 2 inch pipe.
Yeah.
So there's no whip, there's no barrel whip involved. It's just,
Yeah. Yeah. It's just some of the guys you're seeing that are currently lecturing on accuracy. What I'm finding is that when they're shooting, they're not actually holding the rifle properly. So there's no way that you could actually determine accuracy if you're not consistent in yourself. Lab work, that's different again.
I agree with you, but then there's also the point that you find a load and you shoot like a couple of 3-round groups and they're good, and then, you know, you figure, well, okay, it's fine, you know, and then can you really do it the next weekend? Can you
Yeah.
do more, or just as good, you know?
Yeah, and that's where, like I said, you go through your confirmation testing, and then you go to your field position, and I covered all that in the shooting book. So you do actually end up going through it quite a bit, and then from there, if possible, you'll go to long range target before you go trying to ping any animal off at long ranges. I mean, that whole subject's around precision long range shooting, of course, what they're talking about. So, you know, for me, there's a whole process there. I want to see how that rifle's going at long range, shooting rocks or gongs or something. And then, you know, when I'm really happy with it, then, you know, it's time to switch to animals. Especially like Hornady will bring out a bullet. When they first release it, they won't have a BC for it. So often I'll just be left on my own to just try and work out what the BC is for that bullet. Or they'll release like a preliminary BC for it, you know, a ballpark, and that's fine. But yeah, so you really got to put the hours in to actually work out what's going on with it. Yeah. Yeah, Jordan says chasing super tiny groups can really induce OCD to the point of exhaustion, especially if a guy is starting out or if they're trying to troubleshoot. That's it, nailed it, exactly. Yeah, well said. Well, who else have we got there? Anyone with any more questions?
Sure. How you doing, Nathan? Keith Bibby from New Hampshire.
How are you, Keith?
They're awesome.
Good.
Matter of fact, I just got back from Idaho. We were doing a long-range camp with Joseph von Benedict and
Okay.
And there weren't any little rifles out there. That was a good thing.
Yeah.
People were shooting 7 PRCs or 300 Win Max, or a couple 308s. They were
Yeah.
a little struggling in the wind.
Yeah, they do.
It was a super few days out there, but to get down from the east side to shoot out a distance. But I had an unrelated question on a rifle I picked up. Actually, it's a class rifle for really. It's the second rifle I have students shoot when I moved from a 22 to a 223
Yeah.
to a 308 in class. Used to shoot 308s. But this one I picked up is it's an MVP Mossberg.
Yeah.
The rifle itself shoots really well, but the stock has a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
It has sort of a really lightweight hollowed out inner.
Yeah.
It does have a couple of aluminum pillars.
Yeah.
And I was wondering what your thoughts were. Is it worth even trying to bed this thing?
The plastic on those Mossbergs was really, really soft. You can really twist it, can't you?
Oh
Yeah. I have bedded them before. You got to stabilize them first. You got to fill the fore end a bit, and then you've got to get on. It can be done. It's not that fun to work on, and you've really got to burn up the plastic. You've been at it for a few hours because you've got to inlet it and then burn the plastic with a hot knife, and then pour the compound in. And yeah, you can get away with it and do it that way. Depends on how well the rifle's shooting at the moment, you know.
Well, the rifle right now, it shoots really well for an inexpensive rifle.
Yeah, okay.
And it struggles. If it's having a good day, it'll shoot an MOA.
Yeah.
And then it'll have a flyer.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking in terms of using it as sort of a bit of a project for myself, but
yeah.
It's obviously not. I bought it primarily because I like a 223 to step up students from they start on 22 long rifle.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of fun there. They step up to the 223.
Yeah.
And then we'll step them up to something with a little more ambition. I had some girls the other day that said, well, the 222, the 22 was a lot of fun and really smooth. The 223 was just plain fun.
Yeah.
The 30-06 was a sense of power that they had never felt.
Yeah.
And that was an M1 Garand, you know, so it's a heavy rifle that's shooting at standing.
Yeah.
And that rifle just shoots. But I was thinking on this one that it may well be worth betting because it does have flyers after it warms up a little bit.
Yeah.
And it gets some heat on it. I bought it because I occasionally run classes in Massachusetts, and so the ARs have to stay home.
Yeah, right. You could have a look around and see who's making aftermarket stocks for it at the moment, and then bid one of those just for the simplicity of it. But otherwise, if you want to bid that, if you want to bid that, you're going to have to put an epoxy fill into the forend first.
Yep.
And then bid over that. Otherwise, you'll lose so much epoxy in that forend. It's not funny. So, yeah. So there's 2 steps, and then inlet it after that, and then do your burn prep. And then when you do bid it, your bungee tension has to be so light. Just the one bungee at the bridge at the rear scope base. Just one little wee bungee there. Yeah. And I see. So that I forgot about that too. You've got the screws in that location there. Yeah, just behind there, similar to the Savage. Yeah.
I will say this for the rifle: it has a really not a real light trigger, but it has a super crazy smooth trigger for a $200 gun.
Good. Good. Yeah. How about that? Yeah.
And but it's a nice little rifle, and people have a ball shooting it, but they don't know what they're missing yet. But it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the cheap ones go all right. The Ruger Americans, if they can sometimes go, extremely well for their price point. That's quite amazing. Yeah.
It handles very nicely. It's a nice short. It's a short barrel. Obviously, it's not a hunting rifle, so it's although we don't really have anything to shoot with 223s around here because I won't shoot deer with 223s.
Yeah.
I do have 65 grand. And I have one other quick follow-on question.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything about this 338 ARC?
Yeah. That was with the super fast twist rate. Yeah.
No, that one has the 338. The 86 from Q has 1 and 3 twist rate.
1 and 3. Yeah, and then you got the ARC, which has come out recently. Yeah. Yes. The problem with that ARC and subsonic is that's all it will be good for, because they can design a bullet specifically to expand at subsonic speeds. So that we know that, and the way they do that is by engineering, extra skives, big deep cuts into the ogive and so forth. So
that's like a 300 grain bullet in that thing.
Yeah. So we know it's possible, and then the shortcomings of the Blackout were at about 75 yards, that 190 grain subsonic it won't really expand that well. So you're getting into a very, very small wound. So if you increase the bullet weight, provided it's engineered in the same way, you're going to have more energy, and so then you can extend that a little bit, and then you've got more penetration and so forth. Yeah, that's great. But the day someone actually
had pictures of a deer he hit pretty much straight behind the shoulder shot.
Yeah.
And the amount of damage that 86 Blackout did at about 100 yards, he lost a lot. He lost most of the shoulder.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely astonishing how much damage that super fast twist rate did.
Yeah. But yeah, so
I was looking at the ARC because I kind of wanted a subsonic opera for a gas gun, and I refused to allow 300 Blackout in the mix because they tend to chamber in gas guns.
Yeah, well, the downside of the ARC is that what will invariably happen is that people will be wanting to run the higher velocities, which is normal, and the 338 bullets are made with heavy jackets, and those heavy jackets, they're no good, they don't expand that well. So unless they are coming out with a specific heavy jacketed bullet, a specific light jacketed bullet for the higher velocity, I don't see, where its use is. with the
It
338s,
doesn't have much powder capacity for
no.
to push anything reasonable in weight and supersonic.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah.
Strictly a dedicated subsonic gun.
That's right, yeah, and so that's where it's at. Again, it's sort of I don't know why there's so much focus on that smaller and low power. So I know it's a real thing at the moment, you know, that, and I can see some uses for it, but in the meantime, other people are missing out on you know, stuff that they would, you know, 35 and so forth, 375 are missing out on that. But anyway, if you want to get dedicated,
that's what I'm shopping for at the moment. I'm trying to make up my mind between the 375 Luger and the 375 all in all.
yeah, right.
Not much difference between them. It's a matter of which gun it is.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, quite true, Yeah. Now I've got
That's primarily for Africa.
yeah. For dedicated subsonic, the wider you go, you know, the bigger the wound is going to be, or the easier it is to actually get things going. But at the same time, yeah, the things that they're able to do now with the Hornady Sub X and, you know, those specifically engineered bullets, they are quite good. But yeah, the range is limited. That's the key. So those bigger bullet weights help with the energy further out. Yeah, but I see a lot of guys get into it, and then after you know, a year or so, they're sick of it, and then they want to shift those rifles. So I don't know if I would personally go about doing that. If I, in a dedicated way, I'd much rather, for example, download the Bushmaster with a ACP bullet or something like that, you know. But that's limited too, because but you know, there's some good 45 ACP bullets out there. Yeah. But anyway, it just depends on how you want to use it. I mean, that's got a rainbow-like trajectory on it, that 45, you know.
Yeah. I'm thinking for my own purposes, it's pretty hard to beat my 7 BRC.
Yeah. Oh, good.
And that doesn't suffer from any.
Yeah.
That doesn't suffer from any range issue at all.
Yeah, but it doesn't at all.
Well, it ran steel at 940 yards across the canyon the other day, and I was super happy.
Yeah. Excellent. Bloody excellent.
Yeah. That was, and I have to give it a Hornady in that case, because I sort of had a time crisis. I ended up running factory ammo for that force. I just regular CX and their outfitter. It was a little expensive, but yeah. And I could get it in reloader. We haven't seen reloader up here for a long time.
Yeah. How about that? Yeah. Supplies are getting harder to come by, aren't they? Yeah.
Maybe 1,000 is pushing it at 30, 40, so.
Yeah. Okay.
35.
Yeah, that's good going.
170, sorry, 170.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, good going. Yeah. All right. Anyone else with any pressing questions? I'm trying to use this bloody chat thing as well. Someone's got a technique question, but they're going to email it through. Yeah. That's it. I think we're just about done, are we, guys?
Can you hear me there?
Yeah.
And Joel here. Right?
How are you, Joel?
Not bad. I know how to. And really heavy bars.
That's right. Yes, you're asking that question. Send it by email.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you were asking about whether heavy barrels put a strain on things and whether that can have a negative effect on accuracy. Yes, it can do. And an example of that is the Blazer with it's got the two M6 screws, and they're only about 50 mil apart, and they have a heavy barreled 300 Winchester Magnum, and that one can produce flies with those screws so close together. But ordinarily, if you're running a regular action with a really heavy but very long barrel, that can create a bit of sag, but it comes down to the individual rifle and the harmonics of it and the temper of that barrel. But anyway, if you were to try and bed to offer more support, the trouble with trying to bed is that the further out into the barrel channel you try to bed, the more actual stress you can induce in the platform yourself. So you can actually start mucking it up yourself, because it's just too long an area from the tang all the way out into the barrel channel. Let's say we're talking 12 inches or no more, so let's say 15 inches, something like that. It can actually flex the whole the action in the barrel yourself in doing that. So although it's good to actually bed out into the barrel channel to support that extra heavy barrel, it's actually hard to bed past about 3 inches into the barrel channel. So if you were to go about doing that to try and take the strain off the action screws and to try and prevent that much sag and whip, I think that's realistically you can really only go about that 3 inches length. Yeah. So it depends on cartridge power. Like if it's a low powered cartridge, it may not be affected so much. But if it's something like a 300 Winchester Magnum, then you can end up with a lot of whip out long. You just have to sort of you have to experiment and just see how it goes. There's so many factors involved that it's hard to just definitively say that yes, this is the problem here, because it depends on the temper of the barrel, the power of the cartridge, and so forth. Yeah. Did you have a specific rifle that you were wondering about?
No, just in general, when you see somebody say, yeah, no, that's the big 30-inch bars.
Yeah.
And I just wondering about being on two action screws, like.
Yeah, it can put a bit of strain on them. Yeah. You're having to take all that weight on those two points. That's right. Yeah. I think in the old days, when I used to pull apart the old Omark rifles, Omark target rifle, and they had a big heavy barrel, and they in the 60s they were chambered in a 300 Win mag, and you could see they were bedded into the barrel channel. So I mean, it was known in days gone by that you needed to do that, but now people are free floating right up to the action. That's right. Yeah. Haven't bought any ammo yet, but I saw in one of your YouTube videos you suggested the Hornady ELDM, but I haven't come across it yet at Gun City or Hunting and Fishing in Wellington. Wondering if you had any other suggestions. Well, that's just Hornady. If you want to try that, that's just Hornady factory match. So it'll just be called ELD match, and it's normally available from Hunting and Fishing, and so actually, so the importer is in Wellington. That's Steve's Wholesale, so you might be able to try that. Otherwise, you've got Hornady, it's like your Super Performance, which is your 165 grain SST. You could try that. That's a good place to start. So that's good for your red deer and so forth. The ELDM I was talking about was more for open country long range work, but for just general hunting in the bush up around the Ruahinis, Tararuas and so forth, you might want to run something a bit stouter than that. So you might want to start with a 165 grain SST, and you should be able to find that at Hunting and Fishing or wherever. So that would be a place to start, but you'll need to see what that rifle likes as well. So, yeah.
I have pretty much exactly the same rifle, whoever asked that question, and I bought a packet, I can't remember what it's called, and it was the AMAX, and it loved that ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a little bit easier and cheaper to find than the ELD or the match stuff.
Yeah, so that's exactly the same bullet with a different tip. Yeah. One's good.
My Bigara, I think it was only one packet of ammo I didn't like. I mean, I was getting ragged old groups with like PMC and PPU ammo and stuff like that.
Excellent. Yeah.
I don't know why I started reloading Nathan sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, dear. All right, and this Harry Godden. How are you, Harry? Or is that Hari? Have I got that wrong? Sorry. I can see the person there. I can see you've been trying to get in on the chat for a while. No, we must have lost him. Well, guys, I think that's just about it. It's been bloody great seeing you guys. Really, really good to have you all on board. Thank you so much for coming along, and it's really good to have these bloody chats and just troubleshoot little things and, you know, go over bits and pieces. And yeah, I find it really easy to, you know, to just, especially when you guys can show the rifle and, you know, we can actually have a look at what's going on. But anyway, I'll try and make myself available on a more regular basis, and yeah, I'll keep these going.
Thank you very much, Dan. This is great.
Thank you.
No worries, guys. Until the next time.
Cheers.
Oh.
Thank you.